Hey guys. Okay, so today I'm going to do a video that I meant to do a few weeks ago. This one is going to be how to propagate your herbs so that you can have an endless supply off of just a single plant. Okay, so the plant I'm going to show you it on today is a sweet basil. This is one of my sweet basils. I've got 4 others, but this is my healthiest one. And I'm basically going to show you how to prune it to propagate it. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to find one of the growing tips. That would be like one of these. Get out of there. Like the tops of the branches. This one's got 4 of them. You're going to follow their stem all the way down to where it reaches the main one. See that fork there? How there's 3? So then you're going to take it and you're going to follow it back up. You're going to follow it along to the first major set of leaves that look like this. Oops, just broke that leaf off, sorry. I don't know if you can see that. How there are 2 more sets of leaves coming off of that branch. Well, each of those leaves is going to turn into growing nodes if you prune it. What you're going to do is you're going to take it right above them and take scissors, pruning shears, or if you have fingernails, use those. You're just going to pull that off, and voila, you have a cutting. I'm just going to put that right there. And you basically go around and you do that to all of the growing tips that have at least 2 or 3 sets of leaves. So like on this one, so on this growing tip, follow it down to the fork. I've got 1, 2, 3 sets. And because this one already has a growing tip coming out of it, I'm actually going to prune it right here. So break that off. Set it off to the side. And for this one, it forks higher up than these 2. So you're only going to follow it down to the fork and then go up and break it above the first set of leaves that have new growing tips coming out of them. So break that off. And then on the last one, follow it down and break it off. Okay, so I have 4 cuttings off of this basil plant. Now you don't have to propagate all of these. If you only need 1 or 2 more plants, just propagate 1 or 2 of these, and the other 2 you can dry up and use as regular herbs, as you would in your kitchen. All right, so I'm going to get the cuttings off the other plant that I need, and then I'm going to show you how to go ahead and propagate these. Alrighty, see you in a minute. Alright, I have my other cuttings. I have all the cuttings. I got 6 total, so I'm gonna propagate 6 of them. Now in order to propagate the herbs, in order to propagate your herb cuttings, these were really small cuttings, but that's okay. It doesn't matter if they're nice big cuttings like this one, or really small cuttings like this one, they'll all work just fine. Okay, so what you're gonna need to do it, you're gonna need your cuttings. You're going to need an empty jar. I prefer the deep jars with the smaller necks. I just think they work a lot better. They hold the herbs in place so that they're not flopping around. I just like these more. You can use any jar. You can use really any jar, plastic container, a bowl. I just prefer to use jars. I like them. It's just my preference. And you're going to need some water, which I have in this bucket right over here. This is just full of rainwater. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your jars and you're going to rinse them out. I've already done that. These are all rinsed out. There's nothing left in them that there was. You're going to take them and you're going to fill them up about 1/2 to 1/4 inch to the top of rainwater. So let me just do that. You can use tap water. You can use tap water. You can use rainwater. You can use bottled water. It really doesn't matter at all. Personal preference, you know, use what you got. Let me fill up the other one. All right, voila. So you got your jars filled with water. Now you're going to take your cuttings, all right? Now, like this one, I wouldn't have to do anything, so I'm just going to... Ew, there's a bunch of scudge floating in the top of that one. Excuse you. What is all this grossness? Okay, let me refill that. It's probably just stuff that was floating in the rainwater. Okay, now there's no scuzz. Okay, so you're just going to take it, just going to plop it right on in, just like that. Now this one had a flower on it, so I'm just going to break off the main growing tip and the other ones that had flowers, because I don't want them flowering yet. So you're just going to go ahead and do that. Just plop them right on in. If they had been flowering, break off the growing tips that had been flowering, because you don't want them flowering, because that will make your herbs go bitter. And you're just going to pop them into the water. Make sure that at least an inch of the stem is in. Can you see that? Make sure that at least an inch or so of the stem is in there, and you're good to go. That's all you have to do. Now, it'll take about 2, maybe 3 weeks, depending, for them to start setting roots. But don't worry, they'll set roots. It may seem like they're taking a while. Now, for these small ones, where there's not a whole lot of stem available, underneath the leaves, see how that one's only got like a half an inch? You're going to take off the bottom set of leaves. Just take them right off. Now you can save these leaves and dry them like you would any other herb. See? Just do that. And you just take it and you plop it in your jar of water. Hey, excuse you, stay in there. Okay, now, a good idea would be to take these out and change the water roughly every day. Not necessary. I know this because I forgot to do that multiple times, and it's perfectly fine. And the reason why I can tell you it's perfectly fine, let me just move these out of the way without knocking them over. And this is how I know it's perfectly fine. This is a jar of herbs that I started propagating a while ago. You can see all of those roots floating in the water. They look great. I actually should have transplanted these into soil a couple of days ago, because as you can see, the leaves are not bright green. They're actually starting to yellow, which means they're starting to get a little nutrient deficient. And you can actually stop this from happening if you take the water and you mix it 50-50, compost tea and water. Then the plants will actually grow on their own in the water. But I didn't do that just so that you guys could see the roots. And you may notice some of these brown roots. There's a story behind those. I was going to do this video about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, the plants fell out of the jar and I didn't realize it for like a full day. And when I found them, they were all wilted and the roots that they had all dried up. And I thought, oh, crud. Now I have to redo this. So I just popped them back in the jar. And I figured if they perk back up within a day or two, they'll probably form new roots and be fine. And that's what they did. So if you find them that they found out of the jar and they look all wilty, but they're not brown, just stick them back in and wait. It'll take another week or two. But don't worry, they'll form roots again. And now I'm going to show you how to plant them. Okay, so I have here 2 pots of soil. And you're going to take your cuttings. And you're just going to take one of them for now. Leave the other one in the jar. See, look at those roots. Look at how long those roots are. So you're just going to take your thing of potting soil. You're just going to dig a hole. fairly deep hole. And you're gonna put all of the roots right in that hole. And then you're just gonna backfill. And backfill it to about maybe a half an inch, quarter to half an inch above where the roots have come out. And voila. And in a week or two, this thing will perk right back up. It'll green up and it'll start growing again. And you've got yourself a free plant. Did I tell you what plants these cuttings are from? These are from my Thai basil plants. Not my sweet basil, but my Thai basils. So I'm just going to get this one into its new home. Look at those roots. Fantastic looking. Wow, I'm not even on the camera. I am sorry, guys. Plop it into its new home. Backfill. And then I'm going to take the jar of water, and I'm just going to water them in real well. Voila. And of course, you can reuse this jar as many times as you want, which is why I like using the glass jars. They're the easiest to clean, and they last the longest. Alright, and there you have it. There is how to propagate your herb plants from cuttings. Now, this can be done with all sorts of plants. This can be done with all basils, oreganos, and mints. I know that for a fact because I have done it. I don't know why I did it with mints, because it's really not necessary at all. Although this is a great method to get cuttings for your windowsill in the winter, so that you can have fresh herbs all winter. That's actually what I did. And then when it comes springtime, you just transplant them out in the yard, and there you go. Just transplant them into your yard or garden or wherever it is you're putting it, and you'll have fresh garden herbs, and then you just propagate those plants, and it's a never-ending cycle. And I don't know if this can be done with parsley or cilantro. And I've heard it can be done with rosemary. I can't confirm or deny any of those because I've never actually done it myself. But yeah, this is the method that I use to propagate my herbs. And that's it, really. So, I guess leave a comment if you've used this method or use other methods to propagate your herbs. Tell me how you do it. Tell me what herbs you've done. Like this video if you've learned a thing or two. And if you have any other videos you'd like me to do concerning the garden, leave another comment. Or, you know, just make a 2-in-1 comment. Leave a comment on both things. And yeah, so subscribe. Subscribe if you like this kind of video and want to see more stuff from me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.